For joining us on the Friday edition of TVC Breakfast. I'm Veronica Dan-Ikpoyi. I'm not here alone. I have Super Sam Omatseye as well as Mike Okwoche. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
It's less than 24 hours to the D-Day, the election, the 2023 election day, and so many things have been happening leading up to that day. Just yesterday, we heard the Attorney General of the Federation saying that the government and the president were not in breach of the Supreme Court order. We're talking about the limit of the 200 Naira, 500 Naira, 1,000 Naira note as illegal tender in Nigeria.
Yes, I think the Attorney General is being insincere, not only with his own soul, he's insincere to Nigerians. And what worries me is his ability to live with a mendacious soul while addressing people. He asked a question. He said, what bank have you gone to with your 1,000 Naira and 500 that they've rejected it? What kind of a question
Going
is
to
that?
the bank. We're talking about people being able to purchase.
First of all, he even first said that what bank have you gone to? He asked the question, almost as if it's rhetorical. That what bank have you gone to with your 1,500 and you have not? And they said that in any way, we have not breached the Supreme Court order because when they did that, we appealed. We went to the court to set it aside. But the court says, but the court has not heard your setting aside. So what does that mean? It means acting as if he didn't go to law school. It's acting as though somebody needs to take him to Law 101 and teach him the basics of law that even those who are not even initiated know about. That the Supreme Court says this. And if you have to set anything aside, you must get the Supreme Court to say, yes, in the interim, this is it. And then there was the governors came, and they came again to complain about non-compliance. And when they did that, the courts said the same thing, that 200, 500, 1,000 are legal tenders until our judgment. And that's what still happened on the 22nd, when they said we are postponing till the 3rd. I don't know. I think we have a long line of attorney generals that are on the list. They're in the Hall of Fame of ignorance and tendentious attitudes. And this Hall of Fame, Malami will have a bust there.
Interesting, Mike.
Well, the point there is, we don't expect anything less. He's a politician, right? Because the point there is, that's why Nigerians have been clamoring. See, let us separate this post of Attorney General on one hand and Minister of Justice on the other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's separate this thing. Because the Attorney General, the capacity of the Attorney General should be above board at all levels. You're not supporting a government or a person because the point there is, like someone was saying yesterday, the Supreme Court is like the cathedral, where the moment you go in, it's like you're speaking with God himself. That's the feeling, and that's when you go, no matter what religion you belong, the moment you know that God has spoken, there's nothing you take it. That is how the Supreme Court is.
Yes.
So the position of the Attorney General, that is what is also supposed to be. But when you are Minister of Justice, you are a politician.
You're a politician.
Just like any other Minister of Finance or whatever the thing is, you are a politician to support that government. Absolutely. Whatever the government is doing, whatever your principal is doing, you are in fact supposed to ensure that intention or that idea works. That is the position of the Minister of Justice. That is why Nigerians have been saying, let us separate these two, so that the person who is a politician can act as a politician. The person who is Attorney General can be the Attorney General. So he is speaking from, he has allowed his office as the politician, as the Minister of Justice, to overshadow everything. So there is nothing that the government has done as far as this issue is concerned that he has seen wrong. The point there is that it's not even in the position of the Minister of Justice to say we have not contravened. The issue is before the Supreme Court. Wait for the Supreme Court to come out and say, yes, this is this, no, this is not. It's not within your capacity to say that. Okay, he said he has not contravened. If we wait for Supreme Court on the 3rd, and Supreme Court has said, oh, based on this and that, government has contravened, what do you say? You know, so the point there is, we need to be very circumspect. We are running a country, and whatever action we take today goes down memory lane to stand for us tomorrow, or to stand for us, especially for those of them who still have ambition for political this and political that in the future. You want to be a leader, and you want Nigerians to have confidence and trust in you. So these are the things. I feel that whether government has not contravened or has contravened, the issue there, the reality is that Nigerians are not happy. Absolutely. Nigerians are facing hardship. These are the practical, these are the real issues on ground. So the point there is, as it is, to be even asking, which bank did you take? We are all the banks. We've taken all the 1,000 naira today. They don't accept it. They don't accept it. So asking a rhetoric to say, okay, which bank did you take it and they didn't accept? Should we begin to name all the banks? We should put all the 20-something banks together and say, yes, all of them, none of them collected or accepted the 1,500 naira note from us. So the point there is, we have to be very circumspect. And that line he's towing is just a politician, so we don't expect anything less.
Well, in spite of that, we still saw yesterday those who had perhaps the redesigned notes and the old 200 naira notes, you know, going to the markets, scampering, you know, to buy, stock up ahead of the elections tomorrow. Nigerians still have that attitude of rushing, do not know what is going to happen. Let's quickly stock up on food stuff so that we can stay in our house.
Yes, those people who experienced the June 12 turmoil will know that that is where all of this thing came from. After the June 12 election, there was riots when Babangida decided not to accept the results. Right. Then there was a shutdown. The democracy organization started to rise, and then nobody was going to market. Nobody had to buy. Nobody had to sell, and people, those who got things were expensive, and there was a lot of scrapping for existence, for survival during that time. And some people also started to go to their villages, especially those from the east started to go home. And so it was a period of great anxiety. So I think that is that reflex that we are seeing even today, that when there's anything like that, people want to say, I don't know what's going to happen. No. Let me gather this food in case there is riot, in case there is unstable state of being. Let us have something to eat. Let me hide. That's why some people are going to their villages. Some people are stocking up on food and so on and so forth. Those are Nigeria's natural attitude towards safety in a period of uncertainty.
But we saw some videos. You see armored tanks, coming into some states. We've seen the presence of security personnel across the country. One would expect that would give some level of confidence and assurance for Nigerians to come out and cast their votes.
Yes, it is. It is. In fact, it will give confidence to Nigerians. And from the comments that we have heard from people, a lot of persons welcome the military. Like we have said in the military to secure this, the voting process. Now, the point there is, we have said it time without number, that the military has no duty or has no basis for on election day. However, when you check and see, and you've seen that the level of insecurity could derail the process, then if the government decides on extreme basis and due to the peculiarities, let us send military to certain strategic areas, not to the polling units, but flashpoints. In fact, as at this morning, we have heard that some hideouts where hoodlums incubate have been raided in some parts of the country, as at this morning. So it tells you that they have always had intelligence, whether it is the military, police, DSS, and all of that. They've always had intelligence. regarding there are areas that are breeding grounds for certain kind of, and they know which areas would threaten election. They know which area would threaten the peace generally. They know which area would threaten market. They know all of this information. So the point there is that at times like this is to act in areas that would threaten the elections. So the military presence, where we see them on the highways and whatever, will create some level of stability and some level of peace in the minds of people who want to vote. Because as it is, there's some level of uncertainty regarding how the votes are going to be. The average Nigerian thinks like that when elections come. So the military have no duty to go and thumbprint or decide who you're going to vote for, whatever. So just go there, cast your ballot, and go home. It's as simple as that. So anything, because we've been used to the military in our psyche and so in our political history, it is when a military person comes that everybody begins to behave the way they have to behave. So the presence of military shouldn't scare anybody.
Right. I wanted us to delve into INEC saying that about 87.2 million Nigerians have collected their PVCs